We're about to show you how to avoid the huge mistakes when it comes to relocation, specifically right here to the Charlotte area. Kevin and I have been doing this for years, helping families relocate from state to state.
Welcome home, man.
Appreciate it. We first started in our own hometowns, right? Then when we both moved to Charlotte ourselves, and now we're just taking that same passion and bringing them right to you. There are a lot of factors when it comes to moving. Trust me, especially when you're talking about state to state. We have boiled them down to three main factors. The overwhelming feeling should not be there at the end of this video. Number one is going to be, what is your time frame? We need to reverse engineer everything. If you're looking to move in next June, we need to start 6 months prior to that. We need to know where the movers are going, where the babies is going to school, what it's going to cost, do you need to sell them by, all those good things. Time frames and planning is going to be key. Number two, what is your ideal neighborhood? We got to know who you are. Do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be in suburbs? Do you want to be rural? Do you want to be in a walkable area? Do you not mind driving, especially when it comes to Charlotte? These are key factors. Number three is, why do you guys want to move? What is your reasoning? Are you guys coming up here for employment, schooling, babies, families? Those are all big factors of your why, and it's going to push you to make this transition even easier.
First thing we want to discuss is how and where would you like to live in Charlotte. Now, we're not going to get into a whole bunch of real estate stuff, but we'd rather want to come from a perspective. If you're coming down here from 1,000 miles away, we don't want you to make the wrong mistakes. Charlotte has a ton of neighborhoods for us to choose from, so knowing your lifestyle will definitely help us pick the right neighborhood. So for example, we want to consider schools. We want to have rough price points. Do you like to be close to parks or recreational stuff? Do you want to have a short commute? Do you want to be close to water? All of those things play a factor. So the biggest question is, where are these neighborhoods located? Now, here are some neighborhoods to possibly to consider. If you want something walkable, you might want to look into something like a Noda, a Plaza Midwood, or like a South End. Do you want something that's adjacent, like only 20 minutes away from Uptown? Now we're looking maybe like a South Park area, right? Do you want some kind of green space? Now we're looking at like Madison Park, Windsor Park, Sheffield. Freedom Park is super great. Myers Park, bougie, but love it. And if you want something to be more suburban, you want to live close to the water, there's a Mooresville, there's a Huntersville, right? There's Cornelius. Or maybe you just like the small town charm and you want to be somewhere like a Matthews or like a Belmont.
The second thing is, and this is going to be super important, is going to be time frame. We have to reverse engineer everything. Orchestrating these cross-country moves is not always the easiest thing to do, right? The biggest thing is planning beforehand. The greatest asset that we have right now is going to be time. So particularly that sweet spot that we found is about 4 to 6 months. That's going to be the sweet spot to start looking. You can talk to us earlier. There's been people who talk to us a year out or 2 years out, but sometimes that's a little too advanced. Coming into 2025, let's say you guys want to be here by June, right? Let's start talking possibly around that February to March timeframe. It's going to take around 30 days to about 45 days to close here. A lot of times we can close in under 30 days, but just to give you, if any inspections go wrong, if anything goes wrong with the lender or title coming here, you guys want to know these things in advance. That way, you guys give yourself enough buffer time. Also, give you guys enough time to not only visit, but to also look for a house. It could take 2 weeks to look, 3 weeks, maybe even a month to look, depending on, what you guys are looking for specifically or not. Right now, the average days on market is around 30 days. So, houses are sitting a little bit longer, but we don't want to take that chance. We want to give ourselves ample time in order to make all the necessary moves that we need to when you're talking about moving to the Charlotte area.
One thing to consider is why are you moving to the great city of Charlotte? Is it because of a job relocation? Or are you moving here because you want to be in an emerging market and be able to partake in all the appreciation that is happening? Because there literally was a statistic, not maybe 2 months coming out, about 117 people move here on a daily basis. Do you want to be part of the growth of the city, right? Do you want to be part of an Atlanta 20 years ago, right? Do you want to be close to the ocean or in the mountains and have access to both with just an easy driving distance? Right? Do you want to be close to major sports? Do you want access to good restaurants? I mean, the questions are endless. You just have to figure out, why are you wanting to move here? and then we can tailor it towards that.
But tailoring to what your cost of living is from your current city to Charlotte is going to be huge. And we're going to take this little short section to be able to do that. If you guys didn't already watch the cost of living video that me and Kevin just did about 2 weeks ago from this date, make sure you guys watch that. That we go into super detail, I mean budgeted detail on what it's like to actually live in the Charlotte area in late 24 going into 25. Generally, Charlotte is about on average with the rest of the United States, right? Especially right now, we're about 2% less than the national average. Right now inside of Charlotte, the median house cost right now is about $501,000. Now this has shot up ever since COVID, which the rest of the United States has as well. But 501 right now on median is what you guys are really looking. Now there's more affordable neighborhoods, whether you're talking about suburban or whether you're talking about inside the city. If you think it's suburban, think Concord, Kannapolis, Kings Mountain, Gastonia. There's a lot of suburbs if you guys want to be about 35 to about 40 minutes away from Charlotte. Also a lot of affordable neighborhoods inside the actual city of Charlotte too. So if you only want to be 15, 20 minutes away from uptown, you got Sardis Woods, McAlpine, you have Windsor Park / Sheffield Park, which are super close, almost like right next to each other. And then you also have the good side of Hickory Grove as well, which are some up and coming areas.
Let's talk about good old taxes that we all love so much and hold dear to our heart, okay? So to be completely honest, taxes are not terrible, depending on where you come from and also depending on where you're going to be moving in Charlotte. Now, combined taxes for county, city, and district taxes are by 0.75 to 0.78 for every $100 of assessed value. So to give you an example, for a property of $500,000, you're looking at about $3,700 to $3,900 in taxes. Now, that might sound a lot to you, or this might sound like, if you're coming from the state of New York, like, man, this is cheap as heck, okay? And taxes going to get assessed, they're supposed to, every 8 years, but right now they're kind of on a trend of every 4 years, okay? So just to kind of keep that in mind. So that kind of gives you an idea of what taxes are going to be looking like if you come into beautiful Charlotte. Now, along with taxes or being a property owner, you have to talk about some of the utilities. We're talking about some electric, so give you some rough numbers. Electric is roughly around 150, water is between 60 and 70 bucks. Gas, depending on the time of the year, can also range anywhere from 60 to also 150, sometimes more if you love the heat and it gets cold, which in Charlotte, it usually doesn't get cold all that often. Another expense, just to keep it 100% transparent, when we talk about healthcare, okay, Charlotte is one of the worst when it comes to healthcare cost. In North Carolina, and I'm gonna read this off for you guys because this is a mouthful, okay? North Carolina, with a single health insurance coverage through an employer, pay a 8th highest premium nationwide of $1,847 annually. Also, employers cover an 8th lowest percentage of employees' annual health insurance premiums. On average, 76.8% of employees with single coverage. Last, another big one to mention when it comes to healthcare, North Carolina has the 5th lowest number of nurse practitioners.
The biggest thing, especially when I moved there, is like outlandish to me, are gonna be HOAs, right? Where I come from, there's not a lot of HOAs inside of every community. Charlotte, totally different. You're gonna have HOAs in majority of the communities. Now, they may not be $200, $300 a month, but it is something that you have to factor into your budget because you can't change that just like your taxes. Another big factor is going to be when you guys are starting work, right? Starting work is gonna be key to even getting a mortgage. You gotta be able to work in the Charlotte area to get a mortgage in the Charlotte area. Is your start date gonna be May 1st, right? So do we need that short-term rental for about 30 days or maybe 2 weeks before the house closes? Do we need a short-term rental for 2 months, right? So we're not signing a full year lease. We go to a nice furnish, a short-term rental. We use furnish finders or some type of corporate housing or something like that to be able to delegate that easy task of moving twice, yes, but at the same time, you're still saving a ton of money instead of signing a year lease to do what can be done in about a month or 2 weeks. Now, you gotta have somewhere to send your babies. First of all, Charlotte, North Carolina in general, Raleigh, no matter where you are, has the top colleges. You talk about UNC, Clemson, Wake Forest, UNC of Charlotte. Like, there's a bunch of top colleges no matter what you guys are studying, inside the Charlotte and close by the Charlotte area. Schooling is so subjective, so we're not gonna waste too much time on this because everybody's gonna be different. Just a personal thing of mine, I like public school, you know what I'm saying? If I'm about to pay $80,000 for tuition in a couple years, I ain't gonna do it in high school too. I'm also just wait for them to get to college. And you get more diversity than me, but that's a personal opinion. Everybody doesn't view it that way, like, you know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys do your due diligence on what the best high school is for your child, and then we can always go from there if there's a specific school district that you guys want to send your child to. Leading on into that, if you guys do want to be in a specific school district, we have to look inside that specific area. That is something that is big. There's a school that you guys want. I can't emphasize this enough. We have to buy within the borderline of that specific school district.
Before you actually settle and create roots here in good old Charlotte, I encourage you to visit, okay, and experience what the life in Charlotte will be like, okay? Check out some of the amenities. Check out Lake Norman. Check out Lake Wiley. Check out some of the parks, right? Go to the Whitewater Center. And even if you know you're gonna be even further out, even visit maybe during different times of the year. What is the summer gonna be like?
Hour out of the house sweating. He got a black shirt on too.
I mean,
I meant to say that.
hot.
Are you okay with the heat and humidity? Do you love the winters? Do you going to miss the snow if you're coming from up north, right? Some of the things that you might want to take into consideration. Plant feet here, walk around, try some of the great restaurants, do some of the walkable neighborhoods that we talked about, like Plaza Midwood, like the South End, right? Go to Uptown, go to a ball game. You know, if you're into the nightlife, check out the nightlife, just experience it, because that is truly going to tell you what life is going to be like here. The next important step is to have a plan of how you want to get here logistically, the time frame, where you're coming from, especially if you're moving from a place like New York. Because New York, if it's in the wintertime, it can be tougher if the weather is pretty bad and you have a lot of snow. Or if you're having to sell a house there, because the sale in New York is going to be twice as long as the one here in Charlotte. A good next step is, I can suggest maybe hopping on a Zoom call with us, and we are going to be able to go over the logistics and kind of helping with the planning. Because, for example, if you really are going to have to sell a house wherever you're coming from, we want to allow enough time for you to sell that house and get you into the new house. That takes a little bit of coordination, right? We also want to plan for, are there any unforeseeable hiccups in the road? Could there be any delays in closings, right? Are the buyer, for example, of the house you're selling wherever you're coming from having to sell their house? Like, we just want to know as many details as possible so we can set good expectations, have proper planning, so we can make this move here as smooth as possible.
Always comes back down to that reverse engineering, guys. Letting us know as much detail as possible inside the beginning. Whether you're even thinking about selling your current home and then buying down here is gonna help us tremendously. Give yourself a buffer room of about 2 weeks so that you're not rushing out of one, driving down to Charlotte 16 hours or 10 hours or 8 hours, and then giving yourself enough time to be able to move in. All right, so as always, Kevin, any of your famous last words?
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for spending time with us. We love making these videos, and we truly love helping people come to the great city of Charlotte. If that is you, hit us up, give us a call, email, no matter what. 4 months out, a year out, 2 years out. If it's too far, still call us. You can never overshare. We definitely look forward to helping you. Until next time, see ya.
All right.